Okay, so a quick little update on the CF Moto 450 MT today. So I got this bike just before I went off to Iceland when I took the Triumph. I've been back from Iceland a few weeks and I've done a few miles on this, more maybe another 400 miles. I just wanted to do a quick update as I've sort of got to grips with the fuel economy, whether it's good for a pillion rider and whether it's going to be good on the motorway stretches. And also I've got some crash protection that I've just bought that I'll talk about. Today I've been out with Sue and Tim. Sue and Tim went around the world for 18 months on a V-Strom 650 a few years ago. And they travelled to up and they went all the way around. They had an accident and had to go back and heal and then went off again. So an incredible trip on the V-Strom 650. I don't know their ages, but obviously they're of an age where they're starting to feel the weight of the V-Strom 650. And so they were keen to ride a CF Moto to see if it would suit their needs as a two-up pairing, as a travel bike. Obviously the dealers have got no demos in stock, and if they put an order down today, what are we now, early August, they will not get a bike till February. And obviously wanting to ride a bike before putting an order down, they got in touch and said, can we come down and ride your bike two up? So we've been out today just this morning. We've done some riding, A-road riding, some flowing Devonshire roads, just to see how the bike performed and how Tim found the bike in comparison to his V-Strom 650. I think first and foremost the way you could see when he was rolling it around and stuff, he found it easier, more manageable. And I think it is. I think I was talking to John at Rally Rage yesterday, and he's got one of these as well to do some work on. And he said it's like an 80% T7, and I think that does sum it up in many ways. It's not a small bike, it's actually quite imposing, but the weight and the way it carries it is very manageable. It doesn't have that top heaviness that some bikes like the Tenere 700 do have, and with an 820mm seat or 830 or so, it's actually quite manageable. It doesn't feel high in the saddle, and it doesn't feel weighty at the top. So actually it's a very manageable bike, and actually it looks big. It looks bigger than it feels, if that makes sense. So for Tim today, I think it ticked the box that it was lighter than his V-Strom 650. It was noticeably lighter. Sue on the back, she was comfortable on the back. She didn't have any complaints, although she obviously wants a top box. So from a pillion point of view, from people who've done a lot of miles on a V-Strom 650, it was thumbs up, and he's going to go away and order one. So I think that was interesting to see, and also interesting to note that when we talk about a 450cc class, we think about it as a smaller bike. You know, it's not for big distances, it's not for pillion riding, but from a couple who've done plenty of pillion miles around the world, their thoughts was that a 450 got the power. Tim had no issues with the power. He said it was torquey, and obviously it's got the long legs and the comfort to do the big trips. So do you need a bigger bike to go touring on? Evidently not by today's observations by Tim. So that was today's observation. Two-up riding, it works. It will do that. So if you're looking for a manageable, lighter two-up bike than what you've currently got, it's ticking a box. In terms of economy, which is another thing I've discovered, me and a mate Ben who lives in the village, we went out on this and the Himalayan 450 the other day, and we did a few miles, and we made a note to measure the fuel economy. So brimmed it before we left, brimmed it when we got back, looked at the mileage that we've covered, and this had done 75 miles per gallon, and the Himalayan 450 had done 93. So actually quite a big gap between the two. It was surprising, really, although I'd heard that the 450 MT wasn't the most economical bike. I mean, 75 miles per gallon is the same as I was getting at the Triumph 400X around Iceland. So to me, it's comparable. Not best in this class, probably the worst in a way, but 75 miles per gallon is still pretty good. Having said that, the Himalayan 450 at 93 is amazing. So if you're looking for the most economical bike in this class, the Himalayan. Out of the two bikes, riding the bikes back to back that day, me and Ben, Ben had never ridden either bike. He'd ridden the Himalayan briefly, but not this. We just felt that this has got more class to it. The engine's smoother, the weight is balanced, it looks better, it looks fresher. So I think the conclusion, and I've got to do a more in-depth review between this and the Himalayan and the 450, but I think we came back and we like this. But what was interesting was that economy, 75 miles per gallon. The third thing to talk about is I rode this up to Immingham, which is 330 miles to get the van and the Triumph that had come back from Iceland. The bike's not at its first service yet, so to be honest, it wasn't the best way of putting some running in miles on the bike, doing 330 miles on motorway. I varied the speed between 60 and 75, which is more revs than they recommend in the book, but what I would say is at 70 miles an hour, engine is perfectly smooth. I've got earplugs in, I didn't get a lot of buffed in from the screen. I got wind, but not buffed in, so I was comfortable with an open face, an open peaked helmet. Sits at 60, sits in 70 miles an hour, 75 miles an hour. It's got some wind-on power, stable on the road. So actually, it's a long-distance motorway bike. It actually ticked a lot of boxes, and it made me think, you know, I've got the Moto Morini 650, or I'd been riding that V-Strom 800. Yes, those bikes have got more power, but this has got enough power to do the distance at the same speed as I would be doing on those bikes anyway. So what would the gain be in having more power? Not really, just having more in reserve. Do you need more in reserve? Well, it's up to you. But for a 450 twin, it travelled at higher speeds on motorways with refinement and good comfort. And actually, I started to get a little bit of numb backside at about 250 miles. So I'd look at a cool cover seat cover that John at Cool Covers is going to offer to make up for me. So that I think that would remedy the comfort issue. Other than that, I wouldn't do anything further long distance touring. The range was good. I think it was getting on for 200 mile range, 17.5 litre tank, so that's all good. Soft luggage on the back, off you go. In terms of crash protection, Uncle Wang is a Chinese manufacturer who makes parts for all the Chinese bikes, so Vosges, CF Motos, Benelli's, Cove. So he's got an extensive catalogue of parts, and I've got the sump guard to go. I think this is about 140, so not a bad value price. I don't know what thickness, 1.5 mil aluminium, so it should give a bit more protection to the sump than standard, which is just plastic and a thin metal. So that's that. And then we've got engine frames, which I'm always in two minds. Is it a good thing to cover your bike in metalwork? Well, as this bike is going to be ridden by other people, comparing it back to back with the other bikes in this class, then there is a chance that it's going to get dropped. And the issue with the CF Moto is I can't get a replacement if somebody writes it off or damages it badly or breaks a panel. So something like that. Maybe the wrong one. Something like that. So it's going to add some weight. I don't know, 4, 5, 6 kilos. So push it up to 200 kilo bike with the scaffolding on. As I say, if it was my bike riding it just me, I wouldn't bother with this. I'd go for the sump guard, but I'd leave this off, put some better bar ends, hand guards on, and just leave it at that. I wouldn't bother with this, but I think for a bike that's going to be used communally, it's probably going to be the best thing. So 180, 170. So it looks good quality. Took a month to come, no import duties due from China. So yeah, we'll see how that bolts together. But Uncle Wang, bless him, I don't know if he really is. There is a man called Uncle Wang, or that's just a business name. But they've got a massive range of parts for this bike. They've got all sorts of stuff: panniers, protection, stickers, headlight grills. Oh, you name it. There's centre stand. You know, if anybody wants a centre stand, there's stuff there. So yeah, Uncle Wang. I've got nothing. I bought stuff with my own money, so I'll report back on as to how it fares. But just as a quick update on the CF Moto 450, you know, it's too good to be true at the minute. If I'm honest, it's good. It's proven today as a good two-up pillion bike. It's proven the other day as a good motorway mile muncher. On the back roads, it's proven better than or more enjoyable than the Himalayan. Where I was still looking for the, you know, where is the gremlin in the system, because brilliant price, brilliant bike. I love the dashboard, and I love how intuitive it is and well designed and clear and functional. I love the functionality of the bike. It's clearly been designed by somebody who rides the bikes and knows what they want from a bike. The way that you can turn traction control off and ABS off when you're riding and it stays off, you know, just simple things like that. It's not rocket science. It's just putting a button on there that actually does what you want it to do when you want it to do it. And small things make a big difference to your enjoyment of the bike. So being able to ride along and switch the traction control off and then hit a trail without having to stop, go through a sub-menu, I mean, it's bread and butter, isn't it? But it's stuff like that that impresses. So that's it. CF Moto 450 MT. It's going to go down. I've got the Stella. A trip down to the Stella Alpina, well, not the actual event, but the area riding with a group in a few weeks. So I'll take this down. So I'll do the riding down to the Italian Alps and then the tracks out there. I think that will be a good test for it. A bit like I did with the Vosges last year, the 300 rally. So. And people say, you know, this or a Vosges 200 rally. Well, if you're going to be doing local trail riding all the time, you just want a bike to chuck around the trails, then get a Vosges, definitely. But if you wanted a bike that can do the trails and also do the travel in more luxury, more refinement, more speed, then I think this is why I think this 450 class is a sweet spot. Because as it proved the other day, it's got the legs to do the motorway work at a comfortable speed without any buzz or tingle. But when you hit the trails, it's still got the lightness, the agility, and the movability to enjoy the trails and safely enjoy the trails. So that's why I'm excited by it, really. Yeah, it's a good day, good day. That's it. Cheers, bye.